Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Yes We Can podcast. I'm your host, Kira Andersen. Today, I have a friend of mine, Rachael Stark, on the show today. She is in the armed forces. She also is a police officer. And she has been through a lot of life in her 30 years, 30 years on this earth. You may have recently seen her on the Wheel of Fortune. So we're going to talk all about that, everything that she's been through, how she's gotten through it, and what she's doing now. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
So exciting to be here.
I know. Let's talk about how we met.
Yeah.
Okay, during COVID, I was doing a outdoor boot camp, and you found it on Instagram.
I think I found it on Instagram,
Okay,
yeah.
and started coming and working out.
And it was so fun.
It was so fun.
And I loved those times with you, and I really felt like we developed a connection, so I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So we've stayed in touch. I mean, that was what, 2020?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
That was before I even met my husband.
Yeah, I know. That's why I've seen this growth in you. I'm like, oh my gosh. I remember having those conversations with you, like, yeah, just about life and what's to come and what you were doing and going through. And
you've been along for the ride, really.
Yeah, and same with you, because I was pregnant with, I think, Dane.
Yes,
then.
yes.
Wild. So anyway, more about you. Let's talk about, first we'll start just with who you are, where you're from, and then we'll kind of get into your story.
Awesome. Well, I am, as you said, I'm in the military. I'm in the Missouri Army National Guard. I'm a captain, and I did Army ROTC in college. I went to Mizzou. I lived in St. Louis my whole life. I love it here. My whole family's here, and it's just where I feel like I belong. I've really found my community. I am a research associate, and I write police policy, and I work on national accreditation, and I also am a reserve officer. So that's just working special events and court. But I'm a friend, a wife, a daughter. I'm trying to balance all these different things and all these different jobs, and the journey has not come without its road bumps, that's for sure. But I've been through it, so.
You have, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And that's the whole point of the show and why I asked you to come on the show. Because, not everybody on my show has had cancer or a big traumatic event in their life, but we all have been through something. We all do have trauma in our life. And you have overcome a lot. And so I just think your story is really going to make a difference here to some people that are watching. So
I appreciate that. Thank
yes,
you.
Of course. So where in St. Louis are you from?
I went to Ladue.
Okay.
And my parents still live in that area. They live so I've been in the same area my whole life.
Okay.
And we just bought a house in Town and Country. So the new house thing is very exciting.
So fun. And then where did you meet your husband?
Online.
I love, who doesn't meet online these days?
But, he is also in law enforcement.
Yes.
So we automatically had a lot in common. Yes. I was working full time as a police officer when I met him. So we happened to have the exact same schedules, and it ended up working out really well, and it still does.
You know what? God's got a plan.
Exactly.
So let's talk about that. You went into the police academy. Had you always wanted to be in the, why do I keep saying it's armed force? So did you join the military or the police
I joined the military first.
Okay, military first.
My dad was in the military.
Okay.
He's very proud of his service, and I'm super proud of his service. So I kind of grew up with that background of wanting to do something where I had, responsibility, and people looked up to me the way I looked up to my dad. So that my first decision was joining ROTC at Mizzou, and it was hard, but I learned a lot about myself during that process, and I commissioned as a second lieutenant. And then I went to the police academy in 2019, but that's kind of where my first road bump comes up. I was dismissed for proficiency in firearms, and that's not what I looked like. I thought life wasn't gonna, I thought I was just gonna go through the academy and start my job, and that's not what panned out. But I picked myself up, and it's not as easy as it sounds. Of course I had my good cry, but I went back to the police academy, and I completed it in 2020.
I know. I love it. I want to talk about that. First of all, thank you for your service.
Thank
you.
And
thank you to your father. So what was hard? You mentioned ROTC was hard. What was hard about that?
It was a lot of discipline, and it was discipline that I hadn't really had to face before. It was waking up early for those workouts, balancing having fun at school, balancing friends. And that's kind of where I learned the art of balancing is, I can still, have friends and go out and do my sorority stuff, but I need to be awake and I need to be serious about my workouts in the morning. So
Sorority, so at Mizzou. Okay. What sorority were you in?
Sigma Kappa.
Oh, nice. I was a Delta Zeta.
Oh,
They had Sigma Kappas at where I went.
Really?
SMS, yeah, or Missouri State. So fun. Okay, so you went into ROTC, and then what did you study in college?
I studied political science. I wasn't positive that I wanted to be a police officer. Like I said, I knew I wanted to do something with like taking responsibility. I didn't know if I wanted to be a lawyer. So I picked political science with a minor in military science.
Okay.
And I kind of just let the rest pan out.
Okay, so let's talk about that. What happened after college? What did you go right into the police academy?
I did.
Okay.
So I came home and I went straight into the police academy.
Okay.
And that's where I, hit that road bump. But I picked myself back up. I applied for an internship right after that first academy didn't work out. And it was with a police department. And I walk in my first day to this internship and I'm like, my foot hurts. That's weird. I went to the doctor and I had fractured the hardest bone to fracture in your foot, the calcaneus, my heel bone.
How?
They think it's just through wear. It's
Oh my goodness.
really hard to fracture that.
Yeah.
And I was struggling between turning around and going to another police academy or just, is this a sign that, this is the end of the road? And I wasn't willing to accept that it was the end of the road.
Yeah. So for those of us that don't really understand, so you which police academy did you first apply to and go through?
I went to St. Louis County.
St. Louis County, and you got all the way through, which I don't even know what that entails. But
A lot.
it's probably, I have no, and if you want to share, you can. But my question is, so you got to the firearm, what is it called? Proficiency?
Yeah, it was the range qualification. And I wasn't proficient on that firearm, but after that, I realized how bad I wanted this.
Yeah.
And I went back and I practiced like nobody's business. Like I dug deep.
And that's the key for all of us. Maybe not, it's not no, maybe it's just not right now.
And I didn't see that at the moment.
Right.
I just saw
So
a
it was
closed door.
Not right now. Understand. 100%. And a lot of times it does seem like a closed door, but it wasn't a no. It was a not right now. So you went back and practiced. So that's the key right there for all of you listening. If the first answer is no, you can always try again. And you were like, all right, here we go.
And I did it. And that was the most defining moment of my life, honestly, is having a door close, but kicking it back open and saying, no, I'm going to do this. I want this.
Did you, after the first police academy where you didn't pass, how did that affect you, like mentally? Did it send you down into a depression or like any, you know what I mean?
I hesitated, but I've had the best role models in my life, and nothing was impossible. Like I had all these other options, and I had the most supportive people in my life saying, if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. If you want to do this, you can. So it was really great to have that support, and I wanted it so bad.
Awesome.
I wanted to be a police officer so badly.
Oh, so how long did it, from when you got released from St. Louis County and then you applied at?
I went to Eastern for my next academy.
Okay.
So it was
internship in the middle or no?
internship in the middle.
Okay. So you decided, now what was the story? Why didn't you just go right into?
There's certain times that the classes start.
Oh.
So I had applied to that next class
Yeah.
as soon as it started for Eastern, which was, it was January of 2020. So I had between September of 2019 and January of 2020 to like fill that gap. And I wanted to keep myself productive. I didn't want to allow myself to kind of slide down anywhere.
So what did you do in your internship?
I did a lot of ride-alongs. I learned the, behind the scenes of police departments. It was truly a moment, and it was with Maryland Heights. And that someone said, I know you had this horrible, like, not failure, but like setback.
Right.
I believe in you. I'm going to give you a chance. I think you can succeed. And I had such a great time at my internship. I had people who believed in me, and it really set me up for success to go through this next academy.
So they were super supportive.
Super supportive.
Amazing. Did anything wild and crazy happen on your right along?
Not
Nothing
that
notable?
stands out. I just remember my foot
Maryland
hurting
Heights.
a lot. Besides breaking my,
shoot. Yeah.
fracturing my foot.
Nothing that stands out.
Nothing crazy.
Okay.
I did meet a lot of really cool people though.
Awesome. Maryland Heights isn't too dangerous, right?
I don't think it is.
You don't hear about
They have
Maryland.
great officers.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so then you applied to the next police academy. Tell us how that went.
It was like 45 minutes away. It was all the way in Lake St. Louis.
Okay.
So it was a commitment. I mean, it was going to be a commitment anyway, but I just wanted to go in with a fresh perspective. I didn't want to let what had happened, kind of hurt my mindset.
Right,
Because it's all
define you,
about mindset.
right.
And I didn't want it to define me completely. So I just went in blank slate, ready to learn until March, a few months later, when COVID hit.
Oh my goodness.
So now it's March, COVID hits, and we're virtual.
So when did the police academy start? January?
January.
Okay.
And it was 6 months long, so halfway through.
Oh my gosh.
And we they kind of had an idea that things might be slowing down, so they got a lot of the physical stuff done in the beginning.
Oh.
And especially closer when there were rumors of the pandemic. They're like, okay, let's get as much of this in-person training in. So when we went virtual for 6 weeks, it was the classroom stuff, which was perfect.
That works out great.
It worked out great. And then the day we came back, which I believe was in May, because it was in St. Charles, was Taser Day. And we got tased.
Oh my gosh.
So it was definitely like
What happens when you get tased?
The prongs, they shoot out and it sends volts of electricity, and I didn't like it.
Was it painful?
It was painful. And the day after that was pepper spray day.
In your face?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Worse than Taser Day.
Seriously? Pepper spray's worse?
Yes.
Okay.
It
Good
stays
to
in
know
your
for
hair.
all of those of you. Let's all get some pepper spray because that is worse than being tasered. Got it.
They're all bad. Just don't do it.
Yeah. Or have it as a defense mechanism, right?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Wild. Okay. So then you go to the firearm portion.
Yes.
And are you nervous as heck?
I'm so nervous, but I've been practicing. I'm in such a better mindset. I
good.
just I want this so bad, and I do it. And everyone knows what a big deal it is there because they know what happened.
Yeah.
And it was just so defining to know that I could do it. And I believed in myself finally. I hadn't known if I could do it until I did it.
It's amazing.
And that follows me throughout my life. I have to do it to prove to myself.
Yes. Yes. Our mind always can stop you. Our mind can stop us from accomplishing what we can accomplish.
Right.
I say that I teach spin on Saturday mornings at True Fusion. I say that every Saturday. Don't let your mind stop your body from accomplishing what it can accomplish. Okay. So then you get into you are approved, awarded. What is it?
Yes, I complete the academy.
July
of 2020. I go to work for Creve Corps full time.
Okay.
And it's my dream. I'm on the road. I'm a police officer. I'm in training.
A car by yourself?
Not at first.
Okay.
You're on field training.
Okay.
But it's everything I had wanted and more. And then I met my husband, who is also a police officer on the road. And I found myself really never seeing him. And that's the struggle of being a law enforcement wife, especially when you're dual law enforcement,
Can't imagine.
schedules and everything. So I wanted to take a deeper dive into investigative work.
Okay.
And I ended up going to the medical examiner's office as a forensic death investigator.
Oh my gosh. So how long were you in a car by yourself?
2 years.
2 years. Oh my gosh. And you met him when? At the beginning, middle?
November of 2020. So right as, I started July of 2020 and then I met him.
So you're both on the road. And the other thing too that maybe people don't realize or talk about is the mental load that you guys take on as police officers.
And then we come home and we just stare at each other and we're like, we just had a whole day.
Yeah. And do you guys talk about the stuff that you talk about it? Like
we've been really good with communication like that.
Good.
Like since he understands what I've seen and I would understand what he's seen, we're able to talk about it. And I think that's been really helpful to our relationship. But
good. So then you decide this just isn't,
yeah.
we can't sustain this.
Yeah.
After your whole life, or not your whole life, but you've been through one police academy, a second one. Now you're an officer, you're on the road, and you're just like, you meet your husband and someone's got to give, right?
Right.
Like, okay. So then you decide you want to do investigative work.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about that.
So the medical examiner's office, and this is where my, looking back comes really in handy. And that's where I didn't see the struggle that I was going through when I was going through it. So a lot of that job was the families. That's why I did that job, is because you're investigating scenes and this is the last report that this family has of their loved one. I'm doing this work to provide to the pathologist who will then do the autopsy.
Oh my gosh.
And I encountered compassion fatigue, and I didn't know what it was until, honestly, now that I've been doing some more, wellness conferences and wellness work. I'm on the peer support team, but I was suffering from compassion fatigue.
Okay, tell us more about that.
So I was leaving all of my energy at work with these families. I was just pouring it all out. And then I would get home and I would have no hobbies. I didn't really do anything. And I didn't understand how that was possible because I felt so fulfilled at work. I felt like what I was doing was important, and it is, but I just gave it everything because I wanted to give these families everything. And it took a while for me to realize that that wasn't healthy. And I didn't really know what to do at that point, because I was doing this job that I loved, that was really important, but my mental health was definitely suffering.
So, like, how did that come between you and your husband?
It definitely was hard because then he moved into a more specialized unit at work, and he was working regular hours, and I was still working these kind of weird hours. We went between shifts, and I'd be working on the weekends, and it was I just wasn't very friendly. And it took a lot for me to realize that something had to change. And I think it's important to recognize that, the tools are now there for first responders. It's just I didn't know how to ask for those tools and how to access those tools.
Like mental health.
Yes. But now I feel like there's a lot of wellness programs coming up, a lot of conferences,
Awesome.
a lot of peer support teams, and first responders are getting the tools that they need. And now the thing is, they just need to ask for them. So breaking the stigma.
Yeah, and some people don't even know what to ask. Like you said, when you were in it, you didn't even realize it.
I didn't even realize it.
So then is that when, like, depression, anxiety, any of that stuff kind of bubble up?
My anxiety got pretty crazy. I would go home and I'd have nightmares. And it was stuff that I was seeing at work. And I'm like, oh, that's normal. I saw that. Like, no wonder I'm seeing it when I sleep. And then I realized it wasn't normal. And it was really so draining. And it was really hard to leave that job because I wanted to help these families.
It.
I loved
it probably
this
felt
job.
like a calling.
Yeah, and I had tied my identity in with my job so much that, I felt like at this job I couldn't take a day off because they need me. I felt needed in a good way.
Yeah.
But I did find a new job, and it's much healthier for me, at least.
Yeah.
It's regular hours. It's in an extremely friendly environment. I'm writing policy. I'm still with a police department. I'm
Awesome.
still surrounded by law enforcement. But I have hobbies now.
Awesome.
And my husband and I are like the best that we've ever been because
I love that.
I just have the mental space to breathe.
I love that. And how long were you with the medical examiner office?
2 years.
2 years. And then how did you come to realize it wasn't healthy? Did your husband say something, or did you just know I am not?
I just knew that I wasn't. Okay. I wasn't. I don't even know if it was a single situation or a single call. I just one day was like, this isn't the best version of me. And I know that there's a happier, better version of me in me. And I want to be that because, like I said, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter, I'm a friend. I want to show up for these people.
Totally, as a whole person.
As a whole person.
Because life's short.
Right.
And when you realize that, especially with what you've seen. Now, would you categorize that as PTSD or?
It could be. It just, to me, it just brings awareness to what people don't see. There's a lot going on, especially for first responders. Like the person could look completely fine, and then there's they're fighting a battle
that we don't know,
an unknown battle. So my own journey led me to where I am today, wanting to advocate for first responder mental health, wellness, peer support, just everything, and not forgetting our death investigators because they're not technically first responders. But medical examiners are important. They go to these big, crazy scenes too. So wellness is a huge part of my life now, especially with the background I have as, law enforcement spouse and my own journey. Luckily, I was able to catch, everything before it got too out of control. But I definitely saw myself not the best version of myself, and I'm a happy person,
Rachel, that is, it's amazing at the young age that you are, what you've been through, and to be able to realize that and make a change. It's really inspiring and aspirational. I don't think I've ever shared this with you, but my mom passed away 2013. I had just moved back from California. I saw her one time, and she was not living a healthy lifestyle, but she passed away. And we found her, and they had to do an autopsy.
I'm so sorry.
We didn't know necessarily the cause. It ended up, they had said she died of a heart attack. But so when you're saying that, those images and everything is just like rushing back to me. Because, you wait for the autopsy report to see what happened. How did it happen? And I know a lot of widows that is really an important piece for closure.
Absolutely.
So I totally hear what you're saying about your job and how important that was, and you poured your heart and soul into it, and I appreciate that, and so do so many others, and maybe don't even realize it. So, thank you for putting and I can't imagine what you guys as first responders and medical examiners go through, what you see, and to be able to go home and try to live a life and have a healthy mental, how?
And it's really helped shape my job now as, like I said, writing policy and being a member of the peer support team when I do a peer support and I'm talking to an officer, I've been in your shoes. I understand. I might not have been at your scene, but I understand what you went through, and I'm here to talk it out with you. I'm here to not talk it out with you. Maybe you just want me to listen. Maybe you want me to tell you resources. I think that's the most amazing thing about this upcoming generation is people want to talk.
Thank goodness.
And I love that because I want to listen.
Well, it's how we process, right? Do you have a therapist?
Yes.
Okay. So it's how we process. It's how we process trauma. It's how when we talk about it, because, it sounds like for you, you're open and vulnerable about your story, as am I. And some people are like, you share too much. And it's like, no. God brought us all to this earth to be, we all are created in his image, and we're all connected, right? And there's all sorts of various trauma, all the things. But if you share your story, then then it can help others.
Absolutely.
Right? Instead of becoming a victim to what's happened, we're trying to help others know they can get through it and they're not alone. And to speak out and speak your truth, right? In the mental health piece, thank goodness people are starting to talk about mental health.
Oh, I love it.
Right?
Yes.
It's preventing suicides from happening. It's preventing people from going down deep, dark holes because they can actually talk about it. Right? Whereas before in the past, no offense, but, our parents' generation and before oftentimes didn't talk about or don't talk about those type of things. They just swept under the rug. And it's not healthy, we're finding out, right?
And I've been going to these great conferences, especially regarding first responder mental health, concerns of police survivors. That's a group that had a great conference that I went to, going to one in Cape Girardeau next week. Just trying to put all the tools in my toolkit so that somebody who was me, at the medical examiner's office can see, maybe they're watching this and they can see, hey, there's resources. I'm not alone.
Yes.
Other people are going through this. And just because I left that job doesn't mean that everyone else has to. That was just a personal decision that I made.
Correct. I'm definitely, so Colin Ledbetter, he was on the show, I don't know, a couple months ago. An amazing guy. He's well known in St. Louis and probably the country because of what he went through. He was in a terrible gang shooting fight and nearly lost his life. And they revived him and he came back. And he has a podcast now and he focuses on first responders and their mental health. So I'm 100% going to connect you guys because I think you both have the same mission. So I think together, I always say together we can move mountains, right? You got to find more people that have that are passionate about the things you're passionate about. So I'll definitely connect you guys for sure because I think that you guys could do some cool stuff.
Awesome. I would love to see that.
Yeah. And I do want to talk about being a wife of a first responder. I don't know how much you can share about your husband's job and the things that he's doing, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, but that's a whole nother role that people don't talk about.
Absolutely. So he is in a department over in Illinois, and he's in a specialized unit, and that's all I'll say about that. But he's in a specialized unit, and he has never been like an oversharer like I have been. And I think, we all just find our ways to get through the day, but I'll tell you, he takes it out on the pickleball court. He's a master of pickleball. But our relationship, we just learned from each other. I would come home and tell him about my day, and he's such a great listener. And he would learn, does she want advice? Does she want me to listen? Does she want, and we would communicate like, hey, this is just me venting. I'm not really looking for advice right now. And it's really comes down to communication. It's just like any other relationship, except I worry for him.
That's what I was going to ask.
Every single day. Every single day I say, oh, make sure you say goodbye to me before you leave.
Oh my gosh.
And, give me a kiss. And it's...
because you never know.
It's hard to think about. I honestly sometimes just pretend he's going to a regular job because it's just too much to think about.
Does he communicate you with that throughout the day or can he not?
He sometimes does. Like I'll call him and I'll be like, oh, I'm doing something. Yeah. So I have his location. Okay. And it's just because, if I see him at the hospital on Find Your Friends, it's not that that's ever happened, but I worry. I worry about him every single day.
How could you not?
On top of worrying about... Well, I was worrying about myself, and now I'm doing a whole lot better.
Well, and all that is to compound on top of regular marriage and regular life.
Exactly.
Wow. So, okay, what was I going to ask? He's in a specialized unit. So you... okay, we can move on from that. I just, my mind... I just don't even know how... I would be a worried wreck.
I am, and I support him no matter what. I love that he loves what he does, and that's good enough for me. If he loves it and he loves me, then I can live with that.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. So I always say, and maybe you agree or disagree, but between 20 and 30 is where a lot of times we find ourselves. And you did exactly that, and here you are at 30 years old in a job that you love. You're thriving. You've worked through some mental health stuff. I want to talk about your recent appearance on Wheel of Fortune. Like, how did that happen? Let's talk about what you applied. Like, how did that happen?
So that requires a quick backup.
Okay.
So in 2024, I sustained a head injury.
How?
I was in a car accident. And
while on the job?
Well, on military, coming home from annual training.
Okay.
So that kind of put my life on pause the same way the academy setback did. At first I thought it was just a concussion, which turned into still having a concussion and me having to adapt my, day-to-day. I have more tools in my toolkit. I have strategies to overcome any, pauses, I'll say. And then, so I've been applying for Wheel of Fortune for years. And then this accident happens in 2024. I literally forget everything else because I'm just like, this is my life. I have to figure it out. And then I get an email in 2025 saying, hey, you have 24 hours to respond to this email. Your tape date is blank. And it was like 3 weeks from then. And my first thought was, the timing is not ideal. I don't think I can do this. But that's never stopped me before. The timing...
What was wrong with the timing?
With the head injury.
Oh.
I was worried that I would, blank or just look stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when this police academy thing happened, there were people that believed in me. And there were people cheering me on, and I made it. I did it. So why can't I do this? And I responded. I said, I'll be there. And I called my boss. I called everybody like, hey, I'm going to LA. I can't tell you why.
You can't tell people?
I couldn't tell anybody. And
they make you swear not to tell?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You have to sign things.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, I'm going to LA. And then I called my husband and I'm like, we're going to LA.
He got to go too?
He got to go.
That's so fun.
And it was such a whirlwind. It was, hair, makeup, lights, Ryan Seacrest, Vanna White, like big wheel, everything. And the people were so nice. I didn't even think for one moment, am I like good enough to be here?
Oh, good.
I just embraced the circumstances. There's nothing more that you can do. I couldn't change anything. I just embraced what I was going through. I did my best and I had a blast. And fortunately, it's kind of given me a platform to be able to, be invited by great people like you and share my story of these things that I've overcome and all the amazing people that have been there along the way and just say yes to things. Like, that's my biggest takeaway is say yes anyway. Why not?
Absolutely. That's what I always ask my guests at the end of the show, what would they leave them with? So I 100% agree with you to say yes and go after opportunities that you think maybe you're not even qualified for. To just keep going. It
leads to unexpected things. I just got a magazine in the mail yesterday and there was me in it.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a military magazine and I'm like, this is so cool.
Like a write-up about you?
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
I never pictured anything like that. And I just love being able to share what I've been through in hopes that I inspire others to just go for it.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to. Nothing holds you back but you. And I know that's easier said than done, but just taking a second, having people in your corner and
Well, you look great. You look really healthy.
Thank you.
What are you doing for exercising? And does that help your mental health?
Absolutely. I go to Burn Boot Camp.
Okay.
I have a great friend group there. We have like a group chat, like, hey, what's the workout today?
Yeah.
And then like, I don't know if I'm going to go today, but it's fun. I, still indoor cycle.
Where do you do that at now?
I just have a Peloton.
Okay, nice.
And I just go down to my basement.
Yeah, totally.
But I definitely stay active. That's another thing that I kind of put on my, my wellness toolkit is staying active. I play pickleball with my husband, and that's another way I've gotten him involved and gotten him to get a hobby outside of his job. So Wednesdays are pickleball day.
I love that.
And I picked up violin.
Seriously?
Because, like 2 years ago, I'm like, why not? Like, I've always wanted to play violin. Nobody's told me I can't. So I just went and I rented a violin and I found the most amazing teacher. And
that's amazing.
I play the violin now.
What? That's That's amazing.
Because why not?
I love that. I really, really love that.
So I've incorporated a lot of everyday things into my routine just to make life happy.
I mean, it sounds pretty darn balanced to me, which is what we're all going for.
Exactly. Trying to, like I said, balancing being a wife and a daughter and a friend. Gets to be a lot.
Well, not just a wife of a first responder and a specialized unit that's, pretty aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you guys thinking about kids?
We've been talking about it. We're going to start with a Bernedoodle.
Bernedoodle, perfect.
Sean, my husband's allergic to dogs.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been doing a lot of research. So I think a Bernedoodle is our next step.
Okay, I love it. It's a great practice.
And then, he's a little bit older than me, and I've never had a dog. I've also never had a house before. We were living in an apartment, so we're just kind of easing into
Adulthood.
our next, honestly, like adulting. And, one day his work assignment could change and our schedules could be up in the air, but one day at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that, one day at a time. So my kids my older daughter was allergic to dogs. Now she's not for some reason. My middle daughter now is still. And then my son, it seems not to be. But so Bernedoodle, doodles tend to be hypoallergenic.
Yes. As long as you get enough doodle. I don't know. Sean's the one that's kind of like,
did he do the research?
He's doing the research. He wants the dog.
So has he been around a Bernedoodle?
Probably never. He just knows what he wants.
Okay, I love it. Well, just make sure before y'all go for the, go for the gold, make sure he's been around the dog a few times, you guys, just in case. Okay, so what's next for you?
What's next? I would like to continue my learning with wellness. Mm-hmm. I would like to continue learning, growing. I've been doing a lot of reflecting, like what brought me to identify, when I was at that job and needed some help. I've been doing a lot of reflecting, not like Monday night quarterback, like, oh, I should have done this. Mm-hmm. It's more just like, how could I have handled that better? How can I use this in the future to just better myself? I want to be the best version of myself possible for myself, for my husband, for my friends. The world is open to me. And now that I've adopted this philosophy of just trying something once. I mean, I went to this workout class the other day and it was a firefighter workout and it was so cool. And I was just like, why not? I've never done anything like it before. I had to put on the jacket, carry the hose, and walk upstairs. Why not? And I did it.
How did you find that?
It was Strong as a Mother. She's
it was on Instagram.
Yes. And I didn't know her. I didn't know anything about any of it. And I just did it. And that's how I want to approach life. As maybe I'll get on another game show. Why not?
Right.
And everything is so great. My work is so great. And
that's awesome. Yeah. You're in a great place. And you said you mentioned you really want to help others in the mental health field, first responders especially, which is really cool.
I am really passionate about that. And I've honestly just recently discovered that. I've been on my peer support team at St. Louis County Police for about a year or so. And that's been some great work and great learning. And I want to expand upon that. Maybe go into speaking or something like that. So
awesome. One last question. What is the peer support?
Peer support is
group?
So if the supervisors will let the peer support the wellness coordinator know if there's been a tough scene. Okay. And then the wellness coordinator will call on a peer support member to, process that scene emotionally with that officer. Right. Or maybe it's not a scene, maybe it's a life event. Or people from the department can just reach out to the peers and be like, hey, I just want to talk about this. Can we run through? And we're specially trained. We know about the EAP, the Employee Assistance Program. We're trained to handle these situations and just be an outlet. I want to give you resources. I want to give you my time. I care about you. You're not just a number. You're not a person to me.
Right. I love that. Well, Rachel, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
It's so great to see you again and see you thriving. yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
I thank you for having me.
Of
It's so great to
course.
see you again.
Of course. Okay, friends, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Yes We Can podcast. We will be back next week, 10 a.m., so watch again.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the in spa.